Hello everyone, welcome to the Teskey Daily Report. My name is Aaron Teskey. This is vlog announcement part 2. Just a few more things I thought of after the first video that I wanted to take a few moments to elaborate on before handing out all these flyers at the Western Conservative Summit. As I stated in the last video, it is the second largest conservative conference of the year, and I'm hoping to get some viewers' feedback and hopefully make a few connections to help better my vlogs in the long run. In my intros from time to time, I mentioned wanting to reach the average American, such as myself, that doesn't have an hour or more of time a day to get their news. I'm sure a handful of people wonder, well, who doesn't have time to watch the news? Well, for starters, people like myself. One, I don't have cable. I consider it a waste of money. I won't support the mass celebrity elite leftists or athletes in any format outside of my one football team, and I use a free over-the-air antenna to do so. I do subscribe to Blaze TV. I do highly recommend it. It is basically Netflix for conservative news. But I digress. My spare time is spent doing this right here. Any researching I do, recording, editing, website updating, etc., it takes every last spare moment I have. Outside of that, I still work full-time and have a family. I aim to reach people such as myself in that matter. Now, don't get me wrong, I still get a little bit of news here and there. Andrew Wilkow, the Wilkow Majority, that is my idol. That is the guy who has inspired me to do this. Whenever I'm in the car driving to and from work doing things like that, I listen to the David Webb Show in the morning. I do everything I can to tune into the Wilkow Majority by Andrew Wilkow in the middle of the day, and then usually on the way home I catch Adam Levine. I also know a large amount of people out there are just plain getting sick of the mainstream media, including Fox News, as they are slowly leaning to the left. I know we got the tried and true on there still, such as Sean Hannity and Adam Levine, but this is in part due to an upper management shift, and quite a few people just don't want to pay for Blaze TV. I hope to gain the viewership of these types of people as well. Now, the one thing that the big shows and networks have over a one-man show like me is they have the manpower to update their websites daily. They have the ability to research and brief an individual on that day's subject before he even goes on the air. I do not. It takes me a minimum of a few days to gather enough information for a substantial argument. For example, I am still working on my Epstein research. Everybody else has put out 2, 3, 4 episodes about it. But I can promise, everything I say is factual, and I can state my sources. Now, let's not get this confused with my opinion pieces, because opinion is all from here. As an example, look at my Gay Pride Month videos, compared to the real reason Thomas Jefferson owned a Quran. One is opinionated, the other is fact-based. Also, by the average American, I mean those that cannot speak their mind as they wish due to the particular types of jobs that they work, for fear of losing their livelihood and ability to keep a roof over their family's head. Those that are incapable of defending themselves properly or worry about their families, that are afraid to speak their mind. The general silent majority that have a legitimate reason to maintain that status. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to take that hit for the team, because I'm not scared. I'm not worried about my ability to protect my family. I've been very open about it. If anybody has a problem with it, come see me. And that's a big part of what I do. I'm here for those that can't speak out or are afraid to actually speak out. On to the second point of this video. I come under a lot of fire for not being a Christian or a believer of God in this line of conservative work. I just want to clear the air here. I am by no means anti-Christian whatsoever. In fact, when God was in place in this country ran strong, and Americans still had a backbone. I do think America was built on the good lifestyle that the Bible preaches. I personally do not believe in these ideals, but I respect everybody else's right to do so. I am relatively well versed in a majority of the major religions and have made this choice via my own intellectual reasoning. You do not have to be a believer in God to be a staunch conservative. In fact, some of the kindest, soft-hearted you will ever meet can be covered head to toe in tattoos, while some of the most judgmental people can be found in those pews every Sunday. There is a fine line that separates a conservative Christian from a liberal or a Muslim. Our willingness to accept others' beliefs, because that is their right given to them by the Constitution. So naturally, when I saw one of my Facebook followers share an opinion piece that was revolved around God not existing and why, and then posted their comments where they had gone on there and belittled these people for their views. I consequently commented on her post asking, "So, are people not entitled to their own opinion?" She then proceeded to berate me repeatedly, telling me about how I'm blind to what is right there in front of me, and only the smart people use the owner manual to life provided to them by God, and that her facts proved God's existence beyond a reasonable doubt, and so on. Continually telling me I'm wrong, and I'm blind, and in not so many words referring to me as stupid. I want to start with one thing. Yes, you can pull up all the quantum theory crap you want, but it doesn't unequivocally prove God's existence. I don't care what you say. Quantum theory is exactly that. It is a theory that you choose to use to reaffirm your beliefs. Anyways, moving on. The most infuriating thing was she could not answer one of my questions at any point in time. Simply sidestepped them and continued to berate me. Doesn't this sound just a little bit familiar, folks? Sounds like arguing with a liberal, doesn't it? I then proceeded to tell her that the only thing worse than a liberal or a Muslim extremist is a hypocrite conservative. I told her what you are doing to me is absolutely no different than why you claim to despise the liberals or the Muslims push into America. How can one condemn two entire groups of people for an extreme amount of intolerance and a strong push on their agenda that consists of a "you're right and I'm wrong" attitude? This is exactly the problem with liberals. They scream and cry and throw a fit when life doesn't go their way. And the Muslims believe any non-believer must be killed and Allah is the one true God. I am a strong advocate against ignorance and intolerance in any of its forms. And I don't care if it comes from a liberal, a Muslim, or a conservative for that matter. I will call you on your bullshit, plain and simple. You claim to believe in our Constitution, right? Then it is promised to me by the First Amendment as my right to choose not to believe in a God. Don't come at me sideways over it. Just for those of you wondering, my number one biggest thing about why I don't believe in a God, if you will, is because for thousands and thousands of years, much longer than the idea of modern religion has even been around, cultures dating back to 10,000 BC in ancient Mesopotamia believed in the idea of polytheism, or the belief of multiple gods. The first monotheistic culture was Judaism, which arose roughly around 1500 BC, making it about 3,500 years old. Yet polytheism existed strongly until the fall of ancient Greece in 146 BC, and ancient Egypt fell in about 36 BC, after the death of Cleopatra VII. So for over 10,000 years, the belief in polytheism reigned strong. Yet, around the rise of the Roman Empire, monotheism took its foothold, and then gave way to the Christian Crusades. But why? Where did this rise of believing in a single omnipotent being come from? And then where did the others come from? Buddha, the Hindu god, Allah. Where did they come from? I have many other reasons, but the point was to prove that I have a valid, intelligent thinking to defend my views on this subject matter. Sheep do exist on both sides of the fence, and I take it as our job, as fellow conservatives, to weed them out and put them in their place, before we end up as ass backwards as the left-wing morons, just on the other side of the spectrum. That wraps this announcement up. Again, just a few more things I wanted to touch base on, largely because I know a large amount of the people I am trying to reach are of Christian values, and I did not want any confusion as to where I stand on that subject. That's all there really is to it. Thank you, everybody. I do appreciate it. Have a great day.